Welcome to the Restaurant Show. I'm Justin Riley, your host, and I hope you stick with us today because we've got a great show with some fantastic local food to share with you today. We're going to be joined by the Cheese Factory restaurant. It's a vegan restaurant up in the Wisconsin Dells, and they're going to bring a fantastic spread of food, including some vegan tuna. And it actually tastes like the real thing, so you'll want to stick around for that. Also, Emily is going to check in with our good friend Rob from Dashalito's Hot Sauce. He's going to demonstrate his spinach artichoke dip. It's spicy because it's Dashalito's. And also, if you're looking for healthy alternatives for cookies this holiday season, you'll want to stick around for Upland Hills Health. Susan is going to demonstrate some healthy sugar cookies that we can make at home. It's all coming up right here on the Restaurant Show, where we stop by the best restaurants in town. So you can skip the rest and enjoy the best. We'll tell you where to eat right here on the Restaurant Show. Welcome back to the Restaurant Show, and it's the holiday season.
Yes, it is.
And I'm joined now by Susan Ports from Upland Hills Health. She's a registered dietitian nutritionist there. Welcome back, Susan.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You always bring such great healthy options, I might add. And
Yes.
as we're heading into the holiday season here, it looks like we've got some holiday cookies here. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be making today.
Yeah, so what I'm going to make today is a lightened sugar cookie. So we're using
Okay.
something different besides just regular sugar.
Okay.
So the first part is kind of just to mix the wet ingredients together. So
Okay.
I already have the butter here, which is softened, and then we're just going to add an egg.
Okay.
And then this is kind of, so you could add milk, but if you add sour cream, it will actually make the cookie softer.
Okay. Sour cream makes the cookie softer. I
Yeah,
did not
so
know that.
you could use low-fat sour cream.
Okay.
So give that a try if you're trying to make it a little softer. So all we're gonna do then is kind of just mix these wet ingredients together. And I already have the flour and
Sure.
baking soda in there.
Okay, so flour and baking soda is right here then.
Yep.
Got it.
Yes.
So we're using something called Truvia today.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about what Truvia is and what is the difference? What are the nutritional differences between that and sugar?
So Truvia has a baking blend, and
Okay.
what it is stevia, which is a sugar substitute,
Okay.
which comes from a plant, and then it's mixed with sugar. So there is a little bit of sugar, but
Okay.
because they use the stevia, you need about half the amount.
Oh, okay.
And it's about 75% less in the
Wow.
calories.
Wow.
So
Okay.
makes quite a difference.
And we'll find out in a moment if the flavors are the same, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. All right, so once you kind of have that mixed up, you can go ahead and add, this is the Truvia that we have here, which is, again, the mix of the
Sure, okay.
sugar and the stevia.
So you're adding that to your dry ingredients.
Yep,
here.
add that to the dry ingredients, and then we're gonna go ahead and add the wet ingredients in.
Okay.
And if you have like an electric mixer at home, that would make the consistency a little bit better.
More consistent?
Yes, more consistent. So once you kind of add it all in, all you have to do then is just go ahead and
Okay.
mix it up.
And these are just your basic sugar cookies then, but we're using Truvia instead of sugar then.
Yep, so
Okay.
they're sugar cookies. They just have a lot less calories than your regular sugar cookies.
So when you say you use 75% less, does that mean that if a recipe calls for a cup of sugar, let's say, that you only have to use a quarter cup of Truvia?
Yeah, so, well, it's actually 50%. So,
Okay.
it's,
So it just has less in general, but you still physically use less than you would sugar.
Yes, you would. So if it called for a cup of sugar, we would just use a half a cup.
Got it. Half a cup of Truvia.
But it would have 75% less of the calories
Okay. All right.
than regular.
So we've got our electric mixer out here, and we're gonna start mixing it together with the electric.
Yep.
I've always found that this is what's nice about the KitchenAid mixers is that you can just walk away, set it, and forget it.
Yes.
This takes a little bit more work. It's a little bit more hands-on, but
All right. It
that's
looks
coming
like
together
it's-
pretty nicely.
Yeah. So once you kind of have your dough ready to go, then the next thing you'll want to do is just leave it in the refrigerator for about a half an hour.
Okay.
You could actually leave it for longer than that if you wanted to wait.
Okay.
But leaving it in there for half an hour will kind of help make your cookies turn out a little bit better.
All right.
So that's kind of the next thing you'll want to do. And once you have it in that fridge for half an hour, then you can pull it out and you can start working with it to make your cutout cookies.
Okay, so these are cutout cookies that you made here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So then you can kind of just roll it out like regular cookie dough
Sure.
and do your cutout cookies.
All right. And then frosting, you can make some frosting too to go with it?
Yep, and you can use the Truvia.
Decorate.
Yes, you can use the Truvia for that too.
Oh, really? Okay.
For the frosting.
Interesting.
So they have a lot of good recipes on their website to try out.
Very cool, very cool. And then you're also going to be showing us cranberry orange muffins. That's the next thing that we're making here. So what do we got to do for that?
So what we have to do for that, so I have flour, and then I actually used regular sugar in this recipe.
Sure.
And then the baking soda and baking powder. And then what we're going to do is just add the wet ingredients to it. So this is orange juice.
Okay, just plain old orange juice.
Yep.
Okay.
And then an egg.
All right.
And then instead of using like a quarter of a cup of like vegetable oil or canola oil, we're using applesauce.
Oh, okay.
So this is a great substitution that you can use in a lot of different recipes for baking, and it helps kind of cut the calories and
Interesting, interesting. Now, is it just regular applesauce, or is it flavored or seasoned or anything like that?
This is just regular unsweetened applesauce.
Okay.
And you just kind of mix it just like you would if you used the oil.
Okay, that seems pretty easy enough. And then is this another instance where you can use electric mixer or stir it with your fork?
Yeah, this batter will mix a little bit better than the sugar cookies tend to thicken up a little bit more than the muffins will.
And you're using fresh cranberries too, I see. I mean, is it possible to use frozen cranberries or anything like that?
Yes, you definitely could use frozen. And if you didn't even want to use that, you could also use like craisins or something like that.
That's easy enough.
So once you kind of have the batter ready, then the last step is to just add the cranberries into it.
Wow, that's a lot of cranberries.
Yeah.
And they all get mixed in there. So it's hard for me to believe, it's hard to even tell that there's cranberries inside this muffin. But if you can't see any in the outside, that's because they're just packed on the inside.
Yes, they are.
So they'll bake up in there real nicely.
Yeah, they will. They'll kind of cook down a little bit like they would if you were going to cook them
on the
stove.
Got it. Do you have any of these recipes on the Upland Hills website or anything like that, or any similar things that people could look for if they wanted to find healthy alternatives?
Yes, if you go to the Upland Hills Health website, then you'll find the link to the Nutrition Made Simple blog.
Okay.
And that's where we put all of our recipes that we like to share with the patients and anybody else that's interested. So that's a great place.
Sure. Well, Susan Ports from Upland Hills Health, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Thanks
Always
for having
learn a lot.
us.
Don't go away. There is more Restaurant Show coming up after the break. Stick around. Up next on the Restaurant Show, spicy artichoke spinach dip with Dashalitos.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Restaurant Show. Happy holidays to all of you out there. We are so happy and excited to have Mr. Robert Grether back with us today. Welcome, Robert, from Dashalitos Hot Sauces and Spicy Foods. How are you today, Rob?
I'm doing great.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today for the Restaurant Show. What are we making today, sir?
So today we're going to be making a spicy spinach and artichoke dip. Great thing to use for the holidays. Lots of dips, lots of snacks. We've got some other ideas maybe we'll talk about while we're going through making this dish, but hot sauce is a great addition to most of your holiday snacks and treats and that sort of thing. So
yes, you can zip up your holidays with some Dashalitos, right?
That's correct, I believe.
If people haven't seen what Rob's done on the Restaurant Show before, he owns a hot sauce company, makes different kinds of spicy foods and all different kinds of hot sauces that you'll see in the front here for everyone's palate. He's done a lot of making traditional dishes spicy. So here's another one, spinach and artichoke dip with some Dashalitos. So what are we doing here first?
Well, so, I was just kind of keeping myself busy while we're getting started. We've got a pan here, and we're going to be actually cooking it while we go. We're going to be taking all the ingredients, throwing it in. You can actually bake it as well if you'd like, but for our purposes and for the time frame we have, we can get this all done in about 5 minutes. It's the kind of thing you can present into like a bread bowl, and and put it. Might turn that up a little too hot, but it'll cool down in a second here. So we just start with some sour cream. We're going to add it right into there. We've got some spinach. This is actually just regular old frozen spinach.
Could you use a different kind of, if you didn't want to use regular frozen spinach, could you do like a fresh spinach on that, or is it?
You could, and the fresh spinach would work better if you were going to be doing a baked dish.
Oh, okay, sure.
That way it gets softer. I am using some green onions here to also get started. The green onions could also be interchanged with regular onion, just regular white onion. Or yellow onion, I guess is what you'd probably call it.
There's also a red onion.
There's also red onion.
Don't forget that one.
Well, and red onion I think might be a little bit too strong flavored.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I would probably shy away from it, even in a baked dish.
Okay.
So with the onion, because you're using more, a little bit of a quicker version, we're going to use the green onion because it's just not quite as strong. Yellow onion, white onion, red onion tend to be a little bit more strong flavored than unless you cook them.
Okay.
They end up being a little bit more than you might want for flavor.
Okay, so we want the spinach to be the main flavor as well as the artichoke. So if the onion takes over, then we lose some of that. I think
that's
what
what I believe to be true.
Okay, what do we have here? What's our next addition to our dish?
So we're just going to dump some cream cheese in. We've already got about 8 ounces. I got a 16-ounce thing of sour cream, so I used about half of it.
Okay. Again, very specific measurements here with the restaurant show and Dashalito, always.
It's one of those things that...
Don't do this at home. I mean, do this at home.
That's exactly
That's
it.
why.
I want to make this user-friendly. I want people to feel like, yeah, you know what, even if your measurements aren't exact, you can always do it to taste. That's something I think you've acknowledged. I always reference, the spice levels. With this dish here in particular, we could use any one of our different hot sauces. We've got red honey, green owl, this is the mild jalapeno. We've got the Caribbean curry, which is the undertow. We've also got the green fire, which is just a spicier version. Bourbon yarrow, and then bourbon raisin sweet potato, and then sweet heat, which is a candied jalapeno. We really could use any of these in here. I decided that I'm going to use, that was splashy. I'm gonna use the red honey because I just feel like with this being kind of a green and white based dip, we're gonna want a little bit of just different color.
Well, and holiday time. If you can make it look decorative, then you get extra points on the restaurant show.
Exactly.
So we have some red pepper now. And how much of the cream cheese did you add? It looked like a whole block of cream cheese
just
almost?
About, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna let this cook down or melt down before I start adding anything more.
Okay. So you have that at a high temperature there or medium?
Looks like it's about medium.
Medium temperature, okay.
Again, our time constraints here kind of kick us into overdrive a little bit. But, like I said, you could slow things down and put it in the oven, or you could ultimately, just slow the whole process down a little bit by slow simmering it. But
if it went in the oven, would it be like more like a bake? Would it have like a top, like a baked top, like sometimes you see sauces have, or dips, have?
Yeah, and I think what you would be doing is you'd also be, we're going to add some Parmesan.
Okay.
And with that, you would probably put some on the top, and then you'd actually bake it on, so then you'd have a nice little crusty layer.
Okay.
We're also going to add some artichokes.
Hence the spinach and artichoke part of the dip.
The
artichokes, there we go.
Yep. And
artichokes you can just purchase from the store. It looks like in a can here that is pretty user-friendly for purposes of mincing them up and making a bit of a dip. Well, I'm gonna guess that your knife skills are pretty good at cutting up a lot of hot peppers, so.
Huh? Yeah, no, they are.
They are. So what's a good
the kids love that one.
point of reference if you're working with peppers, making hot sauce, or just using peppers for any reason? What's a good thing to do that might save yourself from getting some spicy fumes and things like that on your fingers, and then
well, you want to wear gloves, especially if you're using peppers.
That's what I was looking for.
I'm not actually doing much with peppers. That bell peppers are pretty innocuous.
But at the start of the making of the Dashalitos, if you're starting something from scratch, you want to do some gloves. And don't put your finger in your eye.
Exactly. I have a tendency to do that just in general.
Heard that. I heard that about you. Yeah. That's
So,
why we have paper towels. It's okay.
This is gonna continue to cook down. We don't have much time here, but you can see how a little bit more cream cheese, a little more cheese in general.
It looks very nice.
It's a pretty nice. I don't know if we have a camera that we're
May I
looking at.
take a little
Sure,
trial on
please.
this? All right, let's give it a try here. Spinach and artichoke dip with red honey dashalitos. Here we go. That's excellent. That's excellent. As many of you may have parties coming up, holidays, festivities, this is a great dip to have. It's got a lot of extra zip. You could maybe even decorate it with a little red sauce on the top to really bring out the flavor and also bring out the color for the holidays, and a bread bowl even. Thank you so much, Rob, for joining us on the Restaurant Show. Always a pleasure. And thank you. Please join us from our restaurant show after the break.
Up next on the Restaurant Show, vegan tuna salad with the Cheese Factory Restaurant. Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. Vegans and non-vegans alike, you're going to want to stick around for this next segment because I'm joined now by Lily and Sage from the Cheese Factory Restaurant in Wisconsin Dells. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good to have you back, and we're going to give a shout out real quick, aren't we?
That's right. Juby.
Hi, Juby.
Hi, baby. Hi.
She's in London right now. She was
She's
on
in-
our last episode.
Yep,
but
she was on the last episode, but she's in London with her family for Christmas, so.
we wish her well. What are we going to be making first today? You always bring such an amazing spread of food. What are we doing first?
Okay, we're going to do a tuna salad, gluten-free.
Okay.
And we're going to start by placing 6 cups of garbanzo beans in a food processor.
Okay, and when you say tuna, it's T-O-O-N-A.
Correct.
'cause
It
it's
is not fish
Right.
in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
It's garbanzo beans.
Okay.
And what you're going to discover when we're all done here is you won't believe how tuna-y it tastes.
Okay,
Okay,
all
so we're
right.
going to go about 5 seconds, not too long, because we want to maintain the texture of
Okay.
the chickpeas. We don't want them all mashed
We're not
out.
pureeing,
Okay?
in other
No, we're
words
not
here.
pureeing.
Okay, all right. We'll do that a little bit. How does a restaurant, a vegan restaurant like Cheese Factory get a name like Cheese Factory?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad I asked too.
In the 1940s, which the building that we're in now dates back to the 1940s.
Okay.
The cheese factory was actually a retail cheese market.
Okay.
Where they sold, I think it was the biggest retail cheese market in Wisconsin.
Really?
So when we took over the building over 25 years ago and opened our vegetarian restaurant, we decided to keep the name Cheese Factory.
Okay.
And then, of course, several years ago, when we converted to vegan,
Okay.
we changed the S in cheese to a Z, and the Cheese Factory was reborn as a vegan restaurant.
That is such a cool story. I love that story. You guys, this is something that's available in your cookbook as well, as I understand.
Yeah.
So a lot of the recipes that you have are not just things that you can get at the restaurant, but they can also be things that you can cook on your own at home. So tell us a little bit about your cookbook.
Well, what was happening consistently is that customers would come in and they would taste the food and they would want the recipe.
Sure.
And it was just impossible to keep up with, doing that. So
Right.
we finally put together 24 of the most popular recipes
Okay.
that people would request
Okay.
in a little cookbook. And
Yes.
if you want to,
Yeah.
there it is.
There
it's
it is.
available for purchase at the restaurant or on Amazon.
Okay, excellent.
So there you go.
And was this sour cream that we just added
No,
here?
that was vegan mayonnaise.
Oh, it'd have to be vegan, then,
So-
wouldn't it? It wouldn't be sour cream.
Right, but they also have vegan sour cream.
Okay,
So
vegan mayonnaise.
what's going in here is the garbanzo beans, red onions, celery,
Okay.
vegan mayonnaise made from soy,
Okay.
Dijon mustard, a little bit of ketchup,
Okay.
and some salt. And
Oh, wow.
she's going to mix all of that together. And while she's doing that, how about I prepare a little taster plate for you, just so
Yes,
you
would
can
you
get.
please?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I didn't get a chance to taste the food last time, so I want to make sure that we get to do that this
Well,
time.
to be honest with you, I think what we're going to have to do is, why don't you?
You want me to grab something here?
Well,
or-
yeah, we just need to get you a little spoon.
No, that's okay. I can just grab this fork real quick, too.
Oh yeah, well that's for the, actually, you know what? That fork is for the dessert.
I know.
So why don't you grab this spoon?
Okay, all right.
Here.
Perfect.
And try a little of that tuna on a cracker. We got some rice crackers there.
Okay, so this is the tuna.
That's the tuna, a little rice cracker.
All right.
And then you can actually see for yourself how tasty it is. It's pretty good, huh?
Wow. That is tuna-y.
I know.
I'm gonna just taste it like this.
I know. Everybody asks us, well, how do you get it to taste like tuna? It's like, I don't know. It just does.
It just works, right?
And the other thing that you might want to check out is, you see that nice chow cheese there?
This right here.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you try a piece of that?
Okay, try that with one of the crackers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a cheese spread that we make.
Okay.
And then the little triangle behind it also is a plant-based cheese made with coconut oil, which is very, very tasty.
And should I eat that all at the same time?
Well,
or?
no, just, however. But the point is that we're trying to demonstrate to people who are not familiar with plant-based foods how really tasty they can be.
They really are.
Aren't they? Mm-hmm. And they're easy to prepare, they're relatively inexpensive, and we try to encourage more and more people to give them a try.
Right.
So that's part of the reason why we want to bring a lot of variety here to the show.
Absolutely. Because you can use this tuna salad in so many different ways. You can use it as a dip. You can stuff your vegetables with it. You can put it in a sandwich.
Yep.
And it all looks great.
Yeah. So the idea is to try to help people who are interested in plant-based foods but don't know where to begin, sort of show them how easy and how they can sort of get started. But most importantly, it's really delicious. The food is good. It has to be good.
And how do people who are non-vegans typically react to the food in your restaurant when they try it for the first time?
For the most part, people may be hesitant at first, but once they try the food, they love it.
They are converted.
They are converted.
They're
all
converted.
Right.
And we've actually even had some, people say that if they could eat like that every day, they would absolutely become vegan.
Well, now you can, because you've got this. You've got the Cheese Factory Restaurant Vegan Cookbook that's available to you.
So before we run out of time, I want you to try our gluten-free espresso chocolate dream cake.
You twisted my arm
It's
there, Sage.
it's made with cashews that have been soaked in coconut milk.
Okay.
And then cocoa gets added to that.
Almost put it in my nose. Okay.
And then that all goes in the blender and creates this smooth, delicious kind of creamy dream cake is what we call it. And that is a gluten-free, vegan and gluten-free. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good,
That's delicious.
Yeah.
That is very delicious.
And then this is our tuna salad.
Wow. Isn't that just
Which we have
beautiful?
at the Cheese Factory, and all this stuff. It's all available at the restaurant, and all the recipes are in the cookbook.
Wow. If you have not been to the Cheese Factory restaurant, folks, get on up there as soon as possible. It is worth the trip. Lily and Sage, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yay.
Oh, it's fun.
Don't go away. There's more Restaurant Show coming up right after the break. Stick around. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Restaurant Show. I hope that when you're out and about looking for a place to eat or at the local grocery store, you'll consider any one of these fantastic locally owned businesses. That's all the time we have for today on the Restaurant Show. This is Justin Riley reminding you that life is too short to eat average. We'll see you next time.